What's up, guys? It's Eli, and I was asking some students tonight, and just like off to the side and everything, like, what would you want to see for a video? Because I run out of ideas sometimes, whether you believe it or not. And one that I got a couple different times, and the one tonight really stuck out to me because I have a student that said, I just want to be able to finish submissions. Like I know some stuff, but I'm not finishing anything when I get the opportunity. So thought that was a good idea, and we're going to look at the armbar. We're going to really inspect, like, why am I not finishing this armbar? So some details that will help you, hopefully, to finish this armbar if you're not doing it. So we're going to look at the mount right now. I'll do a different video on guard or maybe other positions. Sorry, just kind of a basic kind of armbar. And I'm gonna assume that, you know, we're beyond him just bench pressing up on me like this, and then I go in for my hands like this here, and then I slide into place. We're gonna set it up a little bit differently. If I have the collar, then I can come here and I can bug the neck a little better, but I can still do it even without the collar. So I'm gonna put my hand right here on Alex's extremely sweaty head and neck, and I'm gonna hold the trap, and I'm gonna kind of drive in. Now, the big thing is I can't lean my weight this way because he's gonna like oopa escape on me if I do that. So I'm gonna hold the trap and I'm gonna drive my forearm and elbow into his chest and sternum. Now, once that happens, he's going here to defend, to relieve some of the pressure, and as he does that, it helps me to wedge his arm up on this side. Whenever that happens, I'm gonna slide my knee up underneath it this way. So now, this is one thing here why people like screw up. First mistake people will make a lot of the time if they get this far is they'll bring this foot up too high. Or sometimes they'll step this foot up first and then try to slide the knee up. That's the wrong order. I hate saying wrong, but it's pretty wrong. So we get here, I slide my knee up until this knee comes up out of necessity, right? So I keep my foot down. Now, at this point here, I wanna come over, and again, I'm gonna imitate just as if I were doing this with the gi, because it's pretty much the same kind of thing. This arm starts to come over this way, and I'm gonna grab here on his far side arm, and I'm gonna pick that up and pull my foot up underneath it like this. So I'm establishing my S mount. So now when people get into S mount, the weight distribution is what messes them up at this point. So this is where you might screw up right now. So if I'm leaning too far this way, he's gonna escape. If I'm leaning too far forward this way. So if I have to err though, I'll lean a little bit more centered over him. I want to keep my core kind of activated, my belly button kind of going over his chest, and keep good posture this way so I'm not just slouched over. Now that I have my S grip established, I think about my heel and my knee kind of coming together, squeezing through his shoulders like this. All the while, I'm keeping this arm in so that this has become my hook. If I need to get a deeper grip, because this is where people will mess up sometimes as well, is that they'll let this arm escape. So I'm gonna get my body behind it and kind of situate it so that it gets kind of pushed over this way. So now, once we're in this position here like this, I'm really kind of starting to think about swinging my other leg over. If my weight distribution is off, that's going to be one of the biggest things that's going to mess up your arm bar. So whenever we go there, I've got to get this leg virtually weightless. So I'm going to lean this direction. I'm going to hold his trap or his far side arm, whichever one is within reach for me. I lean all the weight onto my right leg, and I bring this around here once this leg is weightless. So now at this point here, I've got everything kind of squeezed in nice and tight. Another mistake that people will often make at that point is that they get a little bit over anxious, and they go here and then they just flop all the way back, and then they lose it on the way, right? So you don't want to do that. Instead, once you bring this leg around here this way, you want to squeeze everything in and stay in the seated position. Part of the reason why is that Alex's strong defense is going to come from him rescuing his arms, doing some kind of configuration like this, or even if he just goes like this right here, and that's very strong, and I pull against that, and it's like pulling against the links in a chain. So I want to have a built-in system to keep this unhooked whenever I get to this position. And I want to keep this squeezed up nice and tight. I want my heels coming and pulling in really tight, this position like this. As I go to unfold this, another place that people will get a little bit overexcited, they'll come here and they'll just grab at the wrist and try to arm wrestle out this way. And Alex's one arm is plenty strong to stop me from unbending his arm this direction. So what we're gonna do instead is I wanna be able to scoop this arm up and get this to the wedge here like this, and I'm gonna unfold it here. So I'm gonna keep on kind of opening and attaching this arm to my body, and with the weight of my body, I unfold his arm. I don't do it by arm wrestling him, right? Because he may be stronger, the one arm versus my one arm, or he may be stronger, his one arm versus my two arms, but he's not stronger than my body here going to unfold his arm most likely. As we do that, the legs start to squeeze in it. A common misconception a lot of the time is that people see an armbar and they think you pull the wrist down and you lift the hips up. that's not all there is to it. That might play a role in it, but as I get this unfolded, my thighs are squeezing together, the knees are coming in nice and tight to try to touch each other here like this. And then once I get this unfolded all the way, then I'm gonna find the wrist, because this is gonna help to take away his ability to rotate his arm. If he can rotate, he's gonna fight, and then yeah, now he's gonna be able to hitchhike her out. He's gonna turn and bend his arm rather than it breaking. And I wanna make sure that the orientation stays just like this. Thumb up is a pretty good landmark to kind of look at. That's kind of the old school kind of saying of it. But mostly it's about the well of the elbow here staying in place. And so the squeeze of the knees here is the important part. So if you watch, this is kind of a trick here. If he relaxes his arm like this, and I relax my legs, it's here. If I squeeze the legs, it raises it that much. So by me holding his wrist down toward me close like this, then whenever I squeeze here like this, the pressure has to go somewhere. It goes right to his elbow. That's what's gonna cause the break, hopefully. So now that we've kind of looked at how we get ourselves into this place here like this, and we look at how we're bringing this leg around, keeping everything nice and tight, if I can get his arms bunched together like this, then it's good for me to cross my ankles. Now you hear sometimes old school kind of mentality is you don't cross your ankles on an arm lock. And yeah, if you're gonna do an arm lock like this, like Japanese pro wrestling style, then don't do it, because this is very easy for him to defend and escape. But if I can get the arms like pulled in, bunched together, and get almost underneath his shoulder, and then cross my heels and scoop everything in, now his shoulders are really in a compromised position. And if he wants to use one arm to rescue the other arm, it's very difficult at this point here. But again, because this is all, his defense is about the pull and constriction of the arm like this. But if it's unhooked, he never has a chance to do that. That's what's gonna make it very strong. One little bonus detail that I'll mention about this, just to keep emphasizing the idea behind the unlocking of the arms like that and keeping that there. Whenever he's got his arms in kind of a tighter configuration like this, we'll look at a couple, not a whole lot, but a couple of ways to finish this armbar. This is one of the most common ones that can really screw me up, because he's making a gap of space under here. This is a good defense setup, and it's gonna lead to a good escape. So one way that I can look to fix this is quickly, I wanna have this hand at the ready. I'm gonna start pulling here like this. I want to take this leg off before he gets it off. I pull it out real quick. I push this hand away here, and then I bring this foot back really quick. So now the arms are disconnected. He doesn't have this one underneath any longer. And now I start to pull this one, open it up, and I'm going to fall back and finish the arm bar that way. Another kind of grip break that I can go like that, sometimes he's in here and he's kind of doing this kind of bro handshake like that with himself. And so I can't really unhook him necessarily, but he's also not underneath my leg. Something good that I can look to do from here, I want to pass all the way across him to where this butt cheek is on his chest here like this, and this hip is behind his tricep. It looks like this right here. So I switch all at once. Now my S mount is on the other side. The reason I did that is because this hand that was defending his other arm is now susceptible to me being able to pick it and pull it off like this. I use some attachment so I don't flop and fall off of him like I mentioned before. And then I use this to help open, extend out, use my body weight to help extend the arm out, and then find thumb grips to keep the orientation of the elbow and the right breaking space. Anyway, that's quite a few details where I kind of see where people, whenever they're not able to finish an armbar from the mount, or they're having trouble finishing the armbar from the mount, that's where they're going to have some of the most difficulties, is setting it up and finishing and putting all those little details in place. So again, I'll continue a series like this. I'll maybe do one from the guard for the armbar, maybe a choke from a position. If you have any kind of suggestions about, I can't finish this certain kind of submission, then let me know in the comments, and I'll see what I can do about it. I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks, and keep watching Night Jiu-Jitsu and all that.